Today I'm detecting without my detector. I went to explore two very different places by the sea with strangely connected stories. At a 17th century schoolroom in Devon, pupils scratched graffiti into the wooden panelling. And at the same time, soldiers made their mark on the walls of a granite castle on Tresco Island. The last piece of England. 100 miles apart as the crow flies, these handmade marks tell an unexpected story about life at sea. From poor boys dreaming of ships, to the hard reality of life as a soldier on England's most southwesterly outpost. I'm starting in this oak-panelled Devon schoolroom founded in 1670. I think this room is really special, not so much for its museum contents as the graffiti made by schoolboys. I'm in my local museum this morning. This room was once the schoolroom, and it's amazing because wherever there's wood, they've marked their names on every surface. Every panel is scratched with initials, dates and names of pupils past. But in certain light, something even better reveals itself. Hidden amongst the names, I've found 3 beautiful ships. This one makes advantage of a deep natural scratch in the wood, which is shaped like a hull. The others are rendered in scratches on a window frame. 2 attempts at the same type of vessel at a time when Britain was in a frenzy of exploration, trade and naval ambition. These boys would have heard tales of ships and travel, and probably seen ships up close due to the school being close to the coast. I mean, imagine a boy climbing up here to scratch this into the wood whilst the schoolmaster's back was turned. There was a caning stool in the corner, which, for the sake of experimental archaeology, I tested. Let's just say scratching ships into the walls was probably a bottom-stinging offence. I find these marks really interesting. These are boys practising their adult monograms and dreaming of adventure at sea. And it's likely that a few may actually have made it, joining crews in nearby Salcombe, Dartmouth or Plymouth, or perhaps joining the forces. At the same time, almost to the year, on an island battered by the Atlantic, the reality of life as a soldier defending our islands from threat by sea was very different. I'm here on artist's residency, making my own mark, exploring and painting the islands, making new work for the gallery. Hello everybody, and welcome once again to the beautiful Isles of Scilly, where I'm going to be spending 7 days exploring this amazing place. Worst places to have a tea break, aren't there? Oh look, a rainbow. Well, we've got exciting times. We've got a power outage on St Mary's and Tresco, so there's no shop. See, the shop's shut. There's also no water coming out of the taps because the water here relies on an electronic filtration system. So somebody's just getting me some water. So I've been given 2 big bottles of water and some cheese, which I needed. So I don't think I'm going to die, but basically we've got no electricity and no water. Update, the sun's going down, the whole island's talking about it, everyone's talking about the night time. It's going to be really boring. I'm on my own here in the dark. They've just dropped some candles around, which is really nice, otherwise I'd have literally been sat in the dark. I thought I'd hike up here to this 16th century blockhouse fortification, which has got nothing but an open fire and open windows. I haven't got very much battery left on my phone, and I'm going to be cooking tonight over a log burner. I've got a tin of soup. It's going to get dark in about an hour, so I'm out walking for as long as I can. Apart from that, I'm just going to probably go to bed at about 7:30. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Well, this is all very exciting. There's a storm raging outside and the power's still off. I've had delivery of candles and I've got a tin of soup, and I've just been boiling it on here on the little burner. And it's so hot now that it's just cooked in minutes. So I'm quite excited about eating a meal from the log burner. It feels like I'm living in Victorian times. Listen how quick that boils. Better take it off there. Morning everyone. Welcome to my studio in my cottage. I am about to go out and get some supplies after yesterday's power cut, and I thought I'd show you around where I've been working. So I've converted this room into my studio, and I always bring, every time I come here, I bring the right stuff to do that. So I've protected the furniture with plastic and with linen, and I'm working so that everything's completely clean for the next guests. Walking to the shop for some supplies after yesterday's power cut. I just wanted to let you know that Nicola White is coming to stay with me. She's going to be here later today. She's coming on the 4 o'clock boat. So keep your eyes peeled for some fun adventures. Before Nicola gets here, I'm taking a quick recce of Cromwell's castle. The power cut last night was a reminder that life here on the edge was harsh, cold, dark, wet, windy and isolated. I'm stood just now underneath Cromwell's castle, an amazing fortification built in the 1650s. And I'm excited to be here because I've had a bit of an idea. I reckon there might be things to find here. I'm not allowed to metal detect, but I think there might be beachcombing to do here on the rocks just underneath the castle. I'm going to show you around. Well, this is the outlook, and this place was built to protect the islands from invading forces during the Civil War. Now, let's go and have a look around inside. Head up these granite steps. It still has its original fixings for a very strong door. This is the gun platform. There's that graffiti that I noticed last time I was here, and I did wonder why it was so high up, but of course maybe these men were lying on this section and using their guns out of this window here. I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna climb up and have a look. Won't be needing those. There are kind of footholds. Oh yeah, I can see right up to sea. I can see more up here. 1768, 1733, 1733. I'm going to bring you up and have a look at that stuff. I never would have known that if I hadn't come up here. Look, there are footholds here. Perfect foot size, see? And another one there. I guess to help, like, that would be to help you kind of wedge yourself in whilst your gun was about to go off. And up here on the wall, 1733, 1733, two guys probably side by side. I don't know, is there room for two? Maybe just one guy here. And then on this side, 1768, TSE, TSW. There's another one here from the 1700s. Another one here as well. TP. Here's another. Wow, there's loads. Loads of marks. This cement looks so fresh, but it's not. It's obviously old cement. More behind me here, look. This time we've got a whole name. I think it says sender. So here you see it says, here it says sender, sender. And here's a word, but I can't quite read it. This says hills, I think. Something, sender, hills, something, sender, 1760. This is an important mark. This kind of graffiti of the same era is found in churches, and it is a protection mark. Look, here's a name. William. Surname is gone, starts with a B. These marks are different. These are men, some as young as 18 and possibly even younger, because a lot of runaways used to join the army. These are the marks of men saying, I was here, in a dangerous job, in life-threatening conditions, living far away from home. The lighthouse is sounding again. A new day of searching. Tea, always important. Right, let's go. And I'm just awaiting a guest of mine who has run back to the house to deliver her coat because it's actually quite warm for November. 28 miles out to sea, off the coast of Cornwall, are these amazing islands, the Isles of Scilly. And I'm here with Nicola White, the London mudlark. We're going to be exploring the history of these amazing islands, and we're going to start with the castle that's just behind me, Cromwell's Castle, built in 1651. Today's search is going to be for clues of the 20 men that lived and worked inside this building. I'm going to be looking for evidence of real people who lived in these wild elements, protecting these islands from invasion by sea. Boyd, 1773. I think what's really interesting about these marks is that they are the marks of real men. They probably got to know each other pretty well. And they left their mark here. Those men are long gone now. But their marks will be here, hopefully, for many more centuries. I can hear the sea down there, and it's not a particularly windy day. But it's cold in here, and I can feel the wind blowing through these open windows. It must have been bitter to live in here. And I suspect the only way to keep warm would be a smoky fire and some alcohol and good laughs with people that probably became very good friends or enemies. When you live in this kind of close quarters with people, you do get on each other's nerves. I'm sure there will have been some arguments and some tetchy moments. Kind of makes me want to leave my mark somewhere, but I don't want to do it in an English heritage castle, that's for sure. This one's actually beautifully decorated, so it's capital N-O-W-L-A-N, Nolan. And underneath it, there are some pencil marks. And they're in a scripted font, so they do look quite old. Quite make out what it says. I'll take some pictures and see if we can work it out with some jiggery pokery on the contrast on my phone. Tea in a tin mug. Nicola, there's nothing better than a cup of hot tea in a tin mug in a castle. Would you say?
I'd say that is absolutely correct.
Do you reckon they would have drunk out of tin?
Well, they
soldiers
probably would, wouldn't they? Yeah, of course.
It's quite nice, isn't it, to have something warm when the wind is wild outside. Must have been very welcome, mustn't it, after a long watch to have a cup of hot tea.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Hey, do you think, Nicola, that we might look around this castle? Because the guys that were working here, 20 soldiers were stationed here.
Yeah.
They must all have had buckles, coins. I do think there must be artefacts here, and whether we'll find them. It is low tide. We could give it a try.
I absolutely think we should give it a try.
Come on
Let's get
then,
down
let's
there
go and do it. Here we are then, and this is what I think might have happened here. That up there is the latrine chute. That little square block on the top is the latrine area. If you'd have gone to the loo there, it would have been sluiced out with a bucket of seawater, fallen down here, and run down here. Right, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, until it gets to this pool. I'm thinking that if anything washed down from that latrine chute up there, it will have run down the rocks here and got stuck in this pool. So I'm going to put my hands in and see what I can find. It's quite a shallow pool. Actually pretty nicely out of the wind here. There are little tiny crustaceans swimming about in here. It's not not very deep, and there's a sort of shingly stuff on the bottom. If I disturb it, the water turns a little bit cloudy, so I'm just going to look mainly and see if I can see any shapes. Raining. This is a piece of pirate glass, deep black in colour. It's come from the bottom of a bottle. You can see the punt there, which is the sort of return that gets pushed up inside the bottle. It's very thick and very old. It almost doesn't look like glass, does it? It sort of feels more like stone, but it is glass. Loads of this.
Oh yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. How old is that then, do you think?
I would say it's probably 1800s.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, it's an amazing colour.
It
So
is,
black. Well, we may not have found relics near the castle, but we both brought a few 17th century objects we've found on the mainland of the same date as this castle. Here's my Charles I threepence, pierced perhaps for good fortune. And Nicola brought a selection of clay pipes found on the River Thames, and this Charles I pipe tamper. But before we leave this adventure, I've got one last mystery to solve. Remember those faint pencil marks in the castle? Do we trust ChatGPT? I'll leave that with you. So, from boys planning a life at sea, to soldiers making their mark, to say I was here in volatile, life-threatening times. It's goodbye from us and to these lovely islands.